Hi, Pies. If you'd like to come on in and have a seat for some symbolic support, my name is Steph. I thank you so much for being here. I have created an inkblot made in your name and essence that we are going to scry from one direction this round for shapes and symbols that may speak to our psyche and psychic senses. As well, Pisces will add on Tarot and Oracle, and where Mr. Ghost Gift is here kicking, we're going to utilize Ghost Tube for any audio additions that may further inspire or irritate. Overall, please do receive or release freely, of course. Pies, when you're ready, you are welcome to start scrying for yourself, commenting below if you see any shapes or symbols, whatever feels well to you, as your reflections do deepen the reading and your perspective is powerful. I'm going to take a moment to open up. You can use the timestamps below to move forward. Closing the eyes, cleansing the palette of perception, releasing the race and the rush. Activating the abstract mind and ancient awareness to perceive and receive symbolic support in the name and honor of the Pisces Collective. Pisces, thank you so much for being my muse, for holding space for me to share my insights and allowing me to be a guest in your aura. May you meet a message with meaning. All right, let's dig in here. So I am seeing sloths up here. They've got their arms stretched out. They are stretched out behind, though. Something about sleep and slow. Okay, so for some of you, I'm feeling that whatever you're receiving and whatever your above is, right? In the channel of your chunk of being in the meat suit of sorts. Something might be slow, but you've received it. I feel like it's already here because I'm seeing this figure 8, and now 8 might be important to you. If it was vertical, I feel like it's already been vertical and now it's horizontal. So this is for me landing into, instead of above or below, this is the within and without. Okay, give me a moment. So I feel like I'm like guiding and directing things in this flow. There's a bow at the center of my heart. Something about a gift of the heart, whatever you might apply or welcome into your heart space, whether that's healing, a person, a job, whatever channel that might be for you. I see that gift coming in. It's like being tied with a bow. There's something about like just this fluidity of energy moving through. It's also reminding me of working with like Reiki energy or universal life force energy, however you might resonate with the wordage and the language, but please follow your own. For others, I feel as though there's something either external to and towards you, or vice versa, you towards an external. That's, you know, like if you have like a hairband or a bow, or it doesn't have to be in the hair, but it's too tight and it feels like there might be something I'm holding on to a little too tight, and it's restricting this flow of within without. And I'm even holding back. Okay, because when I come down here, I'm seeing fire glasses, very fun fire glasses. Like they're very fancy flames. And almost like a Betty Boop. So like an old school cartoon. It's very something specific in relation to the size of something. If you don't know, Betty Boop is like, she has like the way she's drawn is like a big head, small legs and body. But then I'm trying to ask for something more modern, and I don't know that I've ever watched it or seen it or know how real it is. But then I'm seeing something like a Bratz doll. I'm trying to think of my little sister when she was wee. Maybe that's still even ancient at this point. But there's something about that configuration. I don't know if it's ego, inflation, but also just leading with your head and your heart. Like it's almost like those two, you know, like in an old school cartoon, where if they're in love and like the heart comes flying out, and it's like, then it's bigger. And then other times, it's like the head and the heart are aligned. There's something about you paying attention. You're very much so paying attention, and I'm seeing that in the flames, because right in here, if you can zoom in on a phone, it's like I'm looking at something in my peripheral. Again, this is very within, without. And when things come into my peripheral, I'm paying attention. Yeah, you're definitely paying attention. And maybe that's in the way energies interact with you. I'm not saying head or heart or, you know, 2 feet in a heartbeat. I'm not trying to apply what is better or best, but it definitely feels like, depending on the context or channel, Pisces, the way you're choosing to interact with certain things. And absolutely, there might be things that you want to run away from because it's too tight on you. Like like I feel like I want to flow. And then it even kind of brings me into your symbol of the fish with like the tails tied together, and that's like that bow. And it's almost like it's too tight, and we've maybe learned how to, those two fish like to swim together as one. But it's like being conjoined has I would rather it be a freedom, a choice to flow together, whatever this is, a job, an opportunity, money, manifestation, whatever the case may be, your head or your heart flow together by choice, symmetry, or harmony, versus being tied together and being forced to learn how to make that work. Do you know what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense to somebody. There's something about a gift that's coming in, whether with this bow. I don't know if this is something you've already received in this slow motion sleep. I feel like I'm waiting for Christmas or something, or a holiday. Like I'm waiting for a special occasion to use the good channel, or the good china or something like that. And it's not like I'm just saying, okay, well, I don't need to wait for any day to use it. I can use the china any day. This still feels like there's something sacred. So it's like, you know what, on Saturday, or for family dinners on Sunday or Wednesdays, or my personal date night where I'm going to make my favorite meal, that's the day I'm going to use my fancy plates or something like that. So it doesn't feel like it's like willy-nilly just using the best of the best every day. And again, this is a head and heart thing. I'm trying not to compete actively even in this space right now, because Pisces have this, or at least I'm feeling like I want to free flow and go, okay, yeah, I don't want to not use the good china for whatever reason this is coming through, but I also want to enjoy it here and now. So maybe once a week or twice a week, or whatever the case is, the timing isn't different. But do you know what I'm saying? Okay. It's like enjoying those fancier things now without being tied to these holidays or these pivotal moments I have in my head, when really I want to embrace them more regularly. More regularly is how I'm hearing that. All right, Pisces. There's also in about that gift, if there is some sort of celebration coming towards you. And when I say celebration, I feel like it's something that I am celebrating, I'm very happy about. I suddenly just took a breath, a different kind of breath. I don't know how to say that without sounding any weirder than I already am. I am also seeing what I think is like a bowl right here. And then almost like with these, when they would have like the red, it'd be like to engage the bowl. This feels head on, but then you have like this peripheral vision. You're so paying attention thing. You know what it makes me feel like is that I have learned what gets the bowl to move. So it might have something to do with Taurus, of course, but then there's also like this background aura around this where I feel like the bull has a lot of symbology, well beyond my intellectual knowing, but maybe in like different cultures, mythologies, maybe something Egyptian-like, or it could even be an ox putting something to work. It's like putting the bull and the ox to work. Slow and steady. It's not a fast-paced thing, but it gets some really deep work done. And I feel like you've done that and you called it forward. You're like, I know what can get this bull to move or this ox to move. This feels like within you, the symbol, if it means anything to you. This feels like you know how to get your excited. You know how to get your, or even if you're frightened, and to call in this giant animal to help protect you and ground you. Because it could be a guide, absolutely. But the way I'm seeing it is like when I see fire, whether that's inspirational fire or fear fire or a cleansing fire. Nonetheless, before I get into your Shaman's Palm of Tarot cards, I just want to say, Pisces, you are paying attention. It feels very powerful. I don't know how else to say that. But you're paying attention. And it feels like you're paying attention in this like full perspective view. And when you can't turn your head anymore, you turn the whole body. Okay. So your little cards here. An evil person may dominate time, but a good person owns eternity. Disappointment should be destroyed, not preserved. And maybe this has some insights for somebody somewhere. Maybe you have an understanding of this. I'm going to relish in an evil person may dominate time, but a good person owns eternity. I think this is what you're doing. You're paying attention to the eternal energy flow, influx. And if someone's trying to, it's like that feeling of too tight, right? With the bow, it's too tight, it's too tight. And while evil might be a strong word, for some it might be the right word. It's like, no, my time restraints. It's too much eternity. And I feel like in that cleansing space with the fire eyes, you're also cleansing out any sort of disappointments, whether they're within yourself or in a reflection of others. Sorry if my camera lags. I'm doing my best with what I got. Okay. Ooh, interesting. So in your cave of ice is the magician. I want to note, see if I can do this. Sorry, one moment, if this is helpful. See how he's got the figure 8 up there? Right by his eye. See, you're seeing things. Your perspective is on point, the way I just heard it, on point, like a ballerina, on point. And your cave of winds is the Knight of Cups. I feel super contemplative here. And I want to note in the way this person is sitting, or this gentleman, it's like sitting on the edge of a waterfall. And the song I just heard come in from, I think it's TLC. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. And your cave of hearth fires is the 10 of Swords. If these tarot cards mean anything to you, please follow your own intuitions as I follow the art first. And your cave of rivers and how you're feeling is the 8 of Swords. See, something's pressing. But in your cave of earth is the fountain. This is fantastic, which is like the Fool. So you have the Magician and the Fool in your palm here, and your scroll is in the mid-world, and we'll take a look at your dream card in just a moment as well if you want to stick around for that. And we'll see. Let's take a look at your psychology card. This is the process. I feel it's like undoing that boat, pulling the one thread of the sweater, and everything falls apart, but it's not. It's so freeing. It's so freeing. I can't tell you how freeing it feels for me while I'm in here. By walking away and moving through, and when I say walking away, it's like I don't want to focus on what I'm walking away from. I'm focusing on what I'm walking towards. Because these are some serious, deep reflections. But it is the catalyst for this new fountainous beginning. Man, your perception is like I can't say it anymore, like on point. I want where I'm moving away from or towards is this Fool, but some magic has to happen. And I feel like I'm even in this waterfall of sorts, like where this Knight of Cups sitting on the edge of the waterfall. This is what, yes.
Protect.
In the magician space in the cave of ice, you've received all the ingredients, all the elements, but I think they're through experiences, through people, through places, through things that are asking you, and you've done it. You've done it. You've taken a look at things in a certain space. I feel like this is big, like everything in your life, and not to it like an existential crisis? Is that the right word? Just very perceptive. And by doing that, now my cave starts to melt and I'm sitting on the threshold, and then I'm seeing like fish following that flow, and they fly over this waterfall, and it's exhilarating. And it's like through that fall, that trust fall maybe, is the Ten of Swords, and it starts to release. Because I'm seeing these like fins, like a shark fin on the back. In your cave of feelings is the Eight of Swords. On what? Okay, so the Eight of Swords, of course, might mean something to you. Follow that. The way I'm seeing this, and I understand it from an emotional space, and the way I'm feeling, especially coming out of my hearth fires of this Ten of Swords, the burdens. But I want to come back to the scroll for a moment, and I want to burn them off a little bit. I'm seeing where I can, and also I want to note that as soon as I said that, burn things away, but then you can also like burn something so that it stops fraying, and then you can add a patch or something like that and be creative. So at some point in time, Pisces, you might have found like, hang your head down, Dooley, hang your head and cry. Hang down your head, Tom. So the head was down. It's just like, oh, whatever this is. But because you have all of this perceptions, it was almost like by closing off the throat for a little bit, I went within, undid my own bow. And now what I'm seeing is actually, if I follow the end of those swords, there's these guides, I'm going to call them, these energies that are there, and they actually want to lift up my chin. They're not at my throat. They're not trying to stop me from saying anything. They're trying to lift me and to realize
I'm scared.
It might be absolutely a little frightening. That's quite the situation to imagine, but it's like my power, being a Piscean guest, my power of perception changed that moment. It's almost like in some way, shape, or form, Pisces, I want to say, like, if I was observing this, when I am, but I'm also in it, it's like seeing somebody, how do I say that?
Smoke.
Okay, so I'm going to externalize it for a minute. Somebody's, maybe it's words, feelings. I don't know what it is. It's not for me to say, but it's at me, right? And it's like, okay. It's like, to me, the Piscean cast. It's like, tell me. And it's like somebody's trying to make me feel like a victim. And I do for a moment. I do. I'm like, oh. And then suddenly, pop your perspective into that other person observing this, whatever this is within you, this idea, this something. And all of a sudden, it's like those spirit guides, the spirit of yourself, your perspective, and you start to look around. You're like, oh, okay, so I have these resources, this, mind thoughts, anyway. And then it's like they slowly lift their head and turn. And this person's watching, go, what is happening? You move through the fear quite efficiently, acknowledged it, and then it's like, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. no thank you. Or I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away. And you're going to be okay with that. Because an evil person may dominate time, just like in here, the moment that they are trying to instill something, but you own eternity. And you remember that. And any time that you might have been disappointed with how things worked out with different opportunities, again, you've untangled your tails. And now you have like this, the way I'm seeing it is this like free form, oops, sorry if that was jagged, free form swimming and flowing with the water. Let's take a look at your dream card. We have number 51, if that means anything to you. And if any symbols stand out, actually, I'll bring it up to the side so maybe you can see it a little bit nicer. If anything is standing out to you, please follow your intuitions of what that means, what you're feeling. We are here. I am going to take a moment to grab the psychology card that goes with it. But I'm going to take a hot second here to scry it. There's that fire, like those fire eyes. You're burying things that you've turned to ash. There's still something about a lot of inspiration that's coming through for you. It's like you're very much so able to discern what is an inspiration and what is an irritation, right? As we say here in the beginning all the time. So your card here is 51, if that number means anything to you, or 6, consciousness. The seeker's light shows him the way. Attitudes, reflection, evaluating. Consciousness is awareness plus appropriate action. To perceive a thing to be true is to act upon it. It is not enough to be aware or go off into wild imaginings and mystic realms. Illusions can drain us of the creativity we need for transforming our lives. Awareness without commitment to act leads to self-deception with no purpose. We do not create our own reality. We open through commitment and integrity to what is actually real, not what we want to be real. Let our actions be consciously chosen. Your task, should you choose to accept, Pisces, is to firm up areas where you know the true path but have not yet followed it. Oy vey. Okay, so I'm going to take... I'm telling you, you've got perception. You are aware of things that might be illusions, imaginations, and what you want to, said well better than I as I yammer on. Who dominates what? Who dominates what? And if you want something to be true, if you want the magician and the fool to be true, you will alchemize your awareness, your energies, your elements, people, places, or things. You will begin to make the changes. You will start to use the good china once a week for family dinner instead of waiting for some precious holiday that stands outside of, space and time. Or, I'm not saying that you did I reflect upon this, or was it just in my imagination? I apologize if I'm recapping in some weird way. But it's like I can see you utilizing the fine china, not willy-nilly as in every day, because that would almost depreciate it. But you are like, I'm not going to wait once or twice a year for these only specific holidays. I would like to appreciate family dinner once a week, or make myself my favorite dinner, read my book for self-care time. And I'm going to use my, the fanciest copper bowl I have, because it enhances it for you somehow. It really honors the moment. It's your attitude towards these things that make them real. The head and the heart, the head and the heart. I feel like in some ways you've already walked through fire and now you can carry it in your eyes. There's a part of you that is passed on through this process, but you have risen. This feels like a resurrection of something. Again, I'm being lifted up in all the swords at my chin. Sorry if I was hogging your cards, because you come out like this. I can't even tell you what it feels like. It's like, see, thank you. So this little creature in here, there we go, right there. Looks like you're holding blood. Looks like you're holding blood. You understand what you're alchemizing. You understand what is or isn't real for you. And every time you take action, passive or aggressive action, you understand that you're adding to something. You're evaluating. I have here smoke and prayers. If we're going to just close out messages for Pisces. Sensitivity. I apologize. Sometimes I just get like, I forget all about cameras. I don't know why. Last one for Pisces. And perception. See, your perception is super, super sensitive right now. Like you've got superhero power almost. There's this fire. Fire seems to be a really big element for you. Or at least the way I'm sensing it. And when I think of the fire as well, and I see that red, and I think of the bull or the ox. I'm suddenly playing Scrabble with these runes. Scrabble. There's something else coming through, but I apologize. I can't quite seem to make it out. There's that gift you're going to be given. Somebody's going to hand. You might even be in a place of like what could feel like the dark night of the soul that, you know, some people say, or you're feeling it from the collective space, like the earth, and apply whatever language feels good to you. You're waking up from some sort of slumber. It was like a conscious sleep, a conscious death almost. Visualize. Meditation and divine feminine and variance. I felt I needed one more. This is you communicating with that, the head and the heart, the higher self to the human aspect. Your commitment and integrity, especially also with that sensitivity, what you commit yourself to, people, places, or things. If you are switching gears, and when I say switching, you're not doing so willy-nilly, at least that's not how it feels to me, but you're so analytical, you're looking at the variances. You're also communicating with not just your head or your heart, but you're also taking a look at stepping back and looking at the big picture. Crazy. I think for some of you as well, I'm going to wander into, as I'm closing out here, this realm of a gift, a spiritual gift or enhancement. Yeah, something, I don't know if it's like a clairaudience or what, or maybe you read tarot, or maybe whatever the case is. And you might start reading runes and studying that, diving into that. It's like your action towards your interest starts to make that connection. Starts to make that connection flow. And I want to place that divine feminine here, because this does feel like feminine energy. But your masculine energy, if I may, is the meditation kind of master. I know the lighting's off. It's because I like to sit in the dark and it's very obscure to try. Anyway, it's fine. Your masculine energy is the one in meditation, visualizing, giving to the feminine energy that can put it into, the ocean, motion ocean. And holistically, as the whole self, you guys have gone through different elements. Chin up. And it's almost like when I go in there, Pisces, and I'm sorry that I'm yammering and rambling, but it's pretty powerful. When I pop out of out of the Piscean energy and I go into whatever this thing is, right? Person, place, or thing, trying to place upon me a victimhood or lower than. And as soon as I start to lift my head and I'm in that other energy, I'm like, uh-oh. And it's almost like I don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Pisces, I'm going to leave it here. Thank you so, so much. We will flip it and return to this little scroll again sometime, and we'll scribe from the other direction for perspective possibilities. I want to thank you so, so much for this fantastic reading. I hope that you made it through. All the links are below to help a gal grow. And until next time, I am so grateful for you. You warm my haunted heart. Bye. Hang down your head some dooley. Oh, 10 of coins is under all that.
What is your name?
Hang down your head and cry. My name is Steph. What is your name?